Good morning, Khushamadid, Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, Adab, and welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir. I am a CICC licensed immigration consultant, and this channel is all about Canadian immigration news, updates, things you should do, things you definitely should not. Do you think there will be a trend of CEC draws separately? Because if FSW continues, the score will be so high. Also, CEC only started during pandemic. This pandemic did a lot of things for a lot of people, right? It definitely gave a big relief to CEC applicants. It gave a big relief to people who are inside Canada's. It was an unexpected blessing in disguise. But do I expect there will be a trend of CEC draws separately? At this point of time, based on all this information, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because federal skilled worker draws have been on hold for a very long time, and that is from 23rd of December 2020. CEC draws are on hold from 14th of September 2021. So I think the government is under a lot of pressure to sort of release, or rather to give relief to people who have been in the pool as federal skilled workers. Pool breakdown is as of April 2022. The scores between 600 and 1200 is all PNP applications, so we don't have to worry about this. This is what most people are worried about, 6,391. And the next one is this one, 3,406 for 491 to 500. Okay. So basically, you effectively have 10,000 people who are in the pool above the score of 491. What that basically means is that depending on how many invitations are issued per draw, there will be a lot of pressure on the high end of the pool. And IRCC is aware, Immigration Minister is, I'm sure, also aware that there are a lot of these people who are in the pool who could potentially be federal skilled worker. Now, how can a federal skilled worker individual have a score of 500 plus? Now, if you are a master's degree holder, age of 29, CLB 10, you can get only 481 at most. Okay. But if you are a PhD holder, you can go up to 495, 496. I think 15 additional points. I'm not sure about it, but about 490 plus is what you can get with a PhD. Now, if you also have a job offer from an employer, you may not be in Canada. You may not need to be in Canada, but that could further add 50 more points. Now you see how the whole dynamics are changing. Suddenly you are in the 500 plus category, even if you're a federal skilled worker. Okay. If you have a sibling, you are a PhD holder, you're a sibling, you have CLB 10, your scores are going to be 510 in that range. So and if you are also a French speaker, again, there is a provision of nearly 60 more points. So there is plenty of scope for federal skilled workers to also be in the range of 500 plus if they so wanted. Okay. And therefore, with that expectation, I feel that the first few draws could potentially be only all program draws, or it could be all program draws for quite some time to come, because in the last internal memo that we had discussed, we had shared from IRCC, it said very clearly that even if express entry draws were to resume today, most CEC applicants will not be eligible in those CEC draws because the scores are going to be so high, potentially high. Also keep in mind, when we talk about the backlogs, this year's target of 55,000 is already taken care of. It's already accounted for, because there have been 75,000 people in the backlogs at the start of January. So we already knew that this year's targets are already going to be taken care of from the quotas that would be cleared out of the backlog. So if 75,000 people will be given permanent residence this year, that basically means they already have 20,000 more from the targets for this year. Okay. So all the ITAs, all the express entry draws that will happen from July onwards, that will be primarily for targets and quotas for 2023, not for 2022. So 2022 quotas, consider it already done and finished, because everybody who's now landing into Canada, coming to Canada, is already getting the decisions from all these backlogs. They're all against the target for this year. If I look at the immigration levels plan for 2022 to 2024, the target for next year, which is 2023, is 75,750. Because this year's target of 55,900, that's already done and finished, as I just explained. This is what IRCC will be looking at to accomplish, to achieve from their ITAs that they will issue this year, from July to December. So if I have 75,000 people to be landed next year, I will divide it by 2.23. That's the number I usually use to calculate the number of applications in order to get to, for example, because each application can have multiple people, right? You could be a single, you could also be married, you could also have children. So the average that I use for my calculation is usually 2.23. So one application is 2.23 landed immigrants. So if I calculate 75,000 people, that gives me, if I divide it by 2.23, it gives me 33,632. Now, also add to that the fact that there will be 30% people whose applications are refused, rejected, or who decline ITA. If I then add 33,000 average plus 30%, okay, that gives me 42,900. And if I just allow for a bit of speculation in terms of the ITAs, additional, less ITAs, because I remember yesterday or day before when I was talking about it, I indicated it could be about 50 to 60,000 ITAs, but I think that number was a bit wrong. The number of ITAs to be issued for this year would be in the range of 45 to 50,000, not more than that. So if I become conservative and I say, okay, 45,000 ITAs issued for this year, divided by 6 months, that is 7,500 ITAs per month, divided by 2, because we are going to say bi-weekly draws will give me roughly 3,700 ITAs, 3,600 to 3,700 ITAs per draw. That is the calculation, or a conservative calculation based on what I've just explained to you is what I'm taking. If I have 3,700 ITAs per draw, and with this 7570, if I have to sort of look at this number, this itself will take 2 draws to clear, okay, approximately. Again, depends a lot on how many ITAs are issued. Then comes this particular category. So by the time the scores will hit 483 draws approximately, again, largely dependent on how many ITAs are issued, it will take at least 3 draws for it to hit 480, at least. From there on, they have 6,677 in 481. So again, depending on the number of ITAs, it could take anywhere from 2 to 3 draws for this number to be cleared. Also keep in mind, the express entry pool is dynamic, which basically means people get added, people's profile get expired, people are upgrading their scores. There are hundreds and thousands of international students in Canada. Their 1 year work experience gets completed, they get points. Hundreds and thousands of international students in Canada whose education gets completed, they get additional points, because mind you, over the last 2 years, there are a lot of people who came to Canada primarily with the purpose of increasing their CRS points. So they could be getting their 15 points or 30 points for having completed a diploma or a master's degree. Then siblings coming to Canada, that adds points. So the dynamic, the pool is extremely dynamic. So this number, just because the draw happens doesn't mean that there will be no more people at 481 or there will be nobody at 500 plus. The numbers keep getting added every single day. Okay, so by the time we have cleared 480 in the score, we have already gone through 5 or 6 express entry draws, subject to how many ITAs are being issued. I keep saying that again and again. 6 draws gone, it's basically now 3 months probably, or 4 months down, and you are now reaching this number of 471 to 480. Okay, now with this, that already gives you an indication what pressure this number is going to have. 15,298, if I say at the rate of 3,700 ITAs, it's another 4 to 5 draws that this number needs to get cleared. Again, keeping in mind that the pool is dynamic, more and more people getting added into the whole pool. So with 6 draws gone, 3 months, 4 months down the line, only 2 more months left for the whole year to finish. And that's when you are entering sub 480 number. And then you can take a wild guess from here on how much time. Of course, everything that I'm talking about right now is purely speculation, absolutely speculation. Guys, don't hold me on this, because we don't really know. Nobody knows, because the draws, exactly when they will start, the date, how many invitations they will issue per draw. I'm just giving you a speculative number based on the calculations that I keep working on over the last so many years, and the data and trends are available. And in my opinion, I remember yesterday I said about 50 to 60,000 ITAs. I was wrong. It should be between 45 to 50,000 ITAs, because the number of applications is what you will be looking at. And with this, I think by the time IRCC hits the number of 480 and below, so 479, 478, 480, you could be possibly looking towards the end of the year, November, December, that kind of a expectation. As I said, a lot depends on how frequently the draws are conducted. So for example, if there is a back-to-back draw, there is a draw this Wednesday and then they conduct another draw next week, again, the scores can drop significantly, because within that short period of time, the number of people entering the pool will be less. That's number one. Number two, how many invitations do they issue? In the first draw, let's say they issue 5,000 ITAs. It will make a big difference. They do 2 draws of 5,000 each. Already the scores are going to come at 480s, okay, very quickly. Let's say they do another draw of 5,000, 6,000 or 4,500. So by the fourth draw itself, they've already come to 480 and touching that level. As I said, a lot depends on how many invitations are issued per draw. Also, since you're asking, there is also going to be the situation whether they will conduct a CEC specific draw in between all this, just to give advantage to people who are there. It's highly possible, mind you, very, very highly possible. But in the beginning, would they do it or not? I personally, at this point of time, think not. I think they will stick with all program draws to start with. In the beginning, there could be a possibility that in between, there could be a few draws that they might sort of put in, which are CEC. And they could also go with the all program draw one. At one point of time, after 2 weeks, they do a CEC, and then they do alternating draws between all program and CEC. That is also highly possible. But again, all of this is speculation at this point of time, just for us to sort of keep ourselves busy, I guess. But we will not know until the actual draw happens. If you do want to make an appointment, then please, that is the link. You're most welcome. We can discuss about your application one-on-one. You can also follow us on Instagram and on TikTok. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. We need to see those numbers going up. Thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate it. And I shall see you next time when we do another one of our live weekly roundups. And until such time, you guys should take care, and I'll see you again.